Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar from Ultimate Forms for InfoWise. And today we are going to be talking about creating a project task tracking system. Uh, Now, my name is Phil Gold. For those of you who haven't attended a webinar that I've been in charge of before, I'm a long-term communications and learning professional. I spent 15 years at Nike as their global training manager, and that's actually how I became familiar with InfoWise. At Nike, one of the things that I was responsible for was training people how to use SharePoint, showing people things that they could do with it, helping them set up their SharePoint sites for their various departments. And InfoWise, Ultimate Forms, was a tool that we used at Nike. So I had some familiarity working with it at that time. Now, Nike had a big layoff in 2017, and me and 2,500 of my closest friends were all said we were no longer necessary to the operation. But I went out and started doing individual consulting work and writing online training courses. I've written quite a few courses for LinkedIn Learning. I think I have 19 published courses at this time, and you can find me on LinkedIn. But one of the courses that I wrote was a course on using InfoWise. I had proposed this to the LinkedIn people, and they said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So I went ahead and I wrote the course. And when it was published, people from InfoWise called me and said, "Oh, thank you so much. We had no idea you were going to do that, and we really appreciate it. And by the way, would you be interested in working with us and helping us with our training and our tutorials and webinars and things like that?" And I said, "Well, of course I would." So that's why I'm here today. Now, I have to tell you, I am not really a technical person. As I said, my background is in communications and learning, but I have been around technology for a long time, and I'm sort of in that super user range, and I'm kind of the right person to be demonstrating this because I can't do the real hard technical stuff. I can't do the JavaScript coding and all that other stuff. And when you are working with InfoWise Ultimate Forms, you don't need to do that stuff, as we will show you as we work forward. So some ground rules on the session this morning. Use the chat to ask questions. Now, right now, I don't see any other InfoWise people on the line, so questions, we may be getting to questions slowly today. If we don't have time to do them during the presentation, then I'll try to get them at the end of the presentation, time allowing. Now, I am recording this session, and the recording will be posted up to YouTube later today, and a link will be on the InfoWise homepage under resources. We're also going to have a free giveaway today. I'm going to be giving away an InfoWise polo shirt. Now, unfortunately, I can only do this with people in the United States because we can't ship outside the United States. So when the time comes, if you're in the US, you'll be able to participate in that contest. So let's talk about what we're doing today. What I wanted to do, I wanted to build out a SharePoint site that was going to allow me to track multiple projects at the same time. And I wanted to be able to easily add and edit records. And I wanted to be able to find records quickly. If I was looking for something specific, I wanted to be able to get to that specific record as fast as possible. And I wanted notifications of deadlines to go out to the project managers or to task owners so that people kept on their timeline for getting their tasks done. And I wanted to have something that was going to give me quick access to all of this information. So how did I go about doing that? Okay, well, let me get out of here for a moment and let's go into the site that I built out and start taking a look here. Now, the first thing that I did is I built a list. And, if you've worked with Ultimate Forms at all, you know that Ultimate Forms uses the information that you have already created in your site, in your lists, in your libraries. That's what it works with to do all of its other stuff. You have to have SharePoint. I've had a lot of people ask me, do you have to have SharePoint to use Ultimate Forms? Yes, you have to have SharePoint and you have to have the lists and the libraries so that your information, so that Ultimate Forms has some information to work with. So the first thing that I did was I built a list, just a simple list. Now, it's actually not a simple list because what I wanted to do was I wanted to use Ultimate Forms associated list uh, functionality rather than just using a simple um, list. So because I wanted to be able to have more than one project in a place, I've got test project number 1, test project number 2. What I did is I added in an associated list so that I could also include detail lines for project tasks. Now, this is something that you can't do out of the box with SharePoint, but this is something that's very easy to do using what we call associated lists. And just to give you a quick idea of where that is, let's go into Ultimate Forms, and I'm in my projects list, and we're just going to click down here in the columns section, associated items. You see here I've built up a couple of associated lists. So project files and project tasks are connected to that project list. So each project line has detail lines for tasks and documents. And this is really very, very simple to build out. It only took me a few minutes to do this, but it enables me to have a more robust list here. I don't have to have, you can see, you might have even been asking yourself, why did I not use just a regular task list to do this? Well, it's because I wanted to have more than one project associated with this list. If I had used a standard Microsoft task list, it would have been one list per project. And then the individual task lines would have been in that list. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to have everything together. So this is the way that I was able to do that, by using a list and associated lists for the tasks and for the associated project documents. Now, as I was setting this up, of course, I wanted to add in a little bit of extra stuff. You can see that we've got some custom columns here giving us information. We have some nice visuals here about what category it is and what the status is. And these are also added in using Ultimate Forms. I'm just going to pop back over here for a second. And this feature here is the color choice feature. We can go in and add icons for the I'm trying to move my my controls here out of the way. You can see I can add in icons for the different categories that we're creating, and then the same thing with the status category. So once again, very, very quick and easy to do. Full documentation is available online that tells you exactly what you need to do with that. Okay, so I've got my list started. Now, another one of my requirements was to be able to enter this information easily, right? So, of course, what I did was I created a custom form using the Ultimate Forms form builder. So rather than a stock Microsoft form, when you look at this, you have a nice, clean, laid out form with tabs that separate out the information. And we've got all of our drop downs there. Put in project manager, project owner information down there. That's people information. We have the ability to sign these. We have the status is in there as a drop down, due date, start date. And here's where you would add your tasks and your files. And because of the way associated lists work, all I need to do here to add files, I just click new entry and it opens up a separate dialog. This is actually the entry form for that list, but we've got it right here. Oops, I'm going to just cancel that. Project tasks, once again, this is the project task list. We can just enter tasks in here, but they will be associated with this line item. Now, the other thing that I did, you'll notice on this new item here, we have the definitions tab, we have the updates tab. Once you've added information, as you can see, this is a existing one. So we have definitions, updates, and we also have history. So I've got history built in, and every time that there's a change in the status, history is going to be added to this list. And that's happening automatically. We've created actions that make this all happen for us. And you're saying, actions? Actions? What are actions? Well, let me tell you. Actions are sort of, you can think of actions as the next step above workflows in SharePoint. Actions are complicated business logic that fulfill a variety of purposes. There's a lot of different things that you can do with actions. In this case, I am waiting for my computer to pop up. I was getting a little bit of notice there that we might be slowing down a little bit, but hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. Okay, so here's our two actions that I have on this particular site. And the first one is update history on status change. And what I've done here, just very simple, we're updating the history. It's happening on every time we edit the file. And the action is the value to set. History changes to this long thing. And there's a lot of CSS code that's included in here, but basically we're changing the modified by, or we're adding in the information from the modified by field and the modified field. And then we're putting in what has happened as far as changes. Creating actions is, for the most part, a click the menu and select kind of operation. You don't have to know how to write code. We could have done this without any of this CSS here. It just would have been very plain. And because we wanted it to look a little fancy, we added in this extra language. But that's not necessary. When I'm looking at this update system date, you can see all we did is we changed the system date to be today and added that field in. So it's possible to do fairly complex things with not too much difficulty using this feature and this capability. You can build out really advanced actions. This is a simple example. Let's go back to the site for a moment. Oops, didn't want to go here yet. No, you're not allowed to look at that yet. I was saving that. I don't want you to see that fun stuff yet. Let's still look here. Okay. So what have we done so far? Let's see. I built my list. I've associated my list. I've added a nice form. I've added some visual indicators. Good, good, good. Oh, I popped up a little change of the square SharePoint icon up there, but that's a SharePoint feature. That's not a Ultimate Forms feature. The other thing that I did is I wanted to make sure that people were informed about the status of their projects. So I wanted notifications going out to the project owner or to the task owner, letting them know that their project or their task was becoming due. Now, if you've ever used SharePoint alerts, you know that you can do this with alerts, but you also know that alerts are fairly limited in terms of what you can say and how you can explain things. Ultimate Forms has alerts which are so much better than this. All of you people who have heard me speak before, you know that I rant and rave about how wonderful alerts are. Alerts are the very first thing that I used when I started using SharePoint, or it's when I started using Ultimate Forms. They truly are just miles beyond what SharePoint can do. So there's a bunch of alerts here that are attached to different projects, but the ones that we want to look at here, because they're in this projects list here. So projects due soon. This was the first one that I wanted to do. This goes out to the project manager when the project is getting close to being done. So what does this look like? The project is due soon. It's in the project list. Who is it going out to? Well, it's going out to the project manager. This information is pulled dynamically from the list. I can use any person or people or group field as an address field for my list. I can also put in individual user emails. I can put in security groups. I can put in contact lists, and I can use any valid email address that I want to. But I wanted the system to do the work on this, so I wanted it to pull from the project manager. Now I could have added a CC or BCC, didn't need to do that. You can change who it comes from. You can change who the reply to goes. This does have to be jiggled at the admin level. So most of the time we leave that alone, but it's totally possible to do that. What to send? I want a notification going out according to the date in the project due column. So I want 5 days before the end date, before the project due date, I want an email going out to the project manager. As long as the status is not complete or the status is not canceled. Okay? So if it's canceled or complete, they don't need a reminder. But if it isn't, if it's still live, so I want that reminder going out to them. Now, the real cool thing is what is getting sent. So we're sending out this project due in 5 days, which is a custom template which I created for this particular project due in 5 days. So this is the message that I have created that goes out on this alert. And this is the real beauty of this. You can customize these messages as much as you want. You can add in dynamic information from the list into the subject and into the body of the message. Now, the stock message that comes out from SharePoint is you've got an alert, basically what it says. Whereas this here says this project, and it tells you exactly which project it is due. It's due on, there's the project due date. Make sure the project information is correct. Here's a link to go back and fix it. And you know, if we don't hear from you, something else is going to go out to the project owner, which is also pulled out of the information there. So this one goes out 5 days ahead of time. And then when the project is past due, another email goes out. And in this case, we've got a different template. Project is past due, and I noted that it's recurring. And I'll show you why I did that in just a moment. Project past due, recurring. Okay, so the message is slightly different. This project is past due. It's showing as past due. Here's the due date. go in and fix it. Once again, a link to it. This is nice. You can tell people exactly what's going on and exactly what they're expected to do. Okay. Now the what to send here, this is a bit different. So according to the due column, when it's 2 days after the due date, it's going to start sending out these notifications, and it is going to repeat every 2 days until the status does not equal complete or the status doesn't, or status equals cancel. Okay. If the project is complete, the messages will stop going out. If the project is canceled, the messages will stop going out. But in the meanwhile, these are going out, and they're going to go out every couple of days. And it's going not just to the project manager this time, but it's also going out to the project owner. Okay, so we've got a fairly robust notification system happening there that is including the next level up, just for the sake of dotting all the I's. I did more or less the same thing with the task management. So here's the tasks are due soon. The mail template here, task is due in 5 days. It says more or less the same thing as the project is due in 5 days. So I was able to sort of copy what I was doing. Task is due on that date. Make sure everything's complete. There's the link so that you can go in and fix it. Okay, so we've got good reminders now going out to both the project manager, the project owner, if necessary, the task manager. This is all keeping everybody in the loop of the information that they need to see. So I've got a really good start on a project tracking system. I've got my list. I've got my associated list. I've got notifications that are going out. I've got actions that are happening that are updating information in the field when they need to happen. What else do I need to do? Well, I wanted to make this easy to use. I wanted to make this whole system easy to use. So I did a little bit of extra stuff. An extra thing number one that I did is I built out a little bit of a dashboard page. And this is actually a little bit big, so I'm going to make this a little smaller. Okay. That gives you a little bit more information here. Now you'll notice that I've been using the modern form here. So this is a modern form widget called the Hero widget, and this is just a modern page. And I've assigned this page as the home page for the site. So I've linked some of the what the Hero widget allows you to do is decide how many of these highlight boxes you want, and then create links with nice images that will take you to specific places in the site itself. So I've got some icons there, which I'll go back to in just a second. But the other thing that I did is I added in a project list search. Now this is another InfoWise part here, another InfoWise feature. So looking in the projects list, I want to look where the category equals complete. I don't think there are any, but let me, oh, no, there are. No, there aren't any. Let's do something easier. Oh, category equals sales. That's right. Category is department. I forgot what I was doing here. All right, see? And here is that sales item pop right up there. And from here, we can click this and go straight to that master project list. Once you have a lot of projects, if you want to dive down into a certain range or a certain status or a certain region, however your list is set up, if you want to dive in by a certain project manager, you can do that as well. So here we'll do project owner. there, project owner equals or does not equal Phil Gold, because I think I'm the project manager or project owner for most of them. Okay, there. Training user 13 is the project owner there. So you can see once you've got a lot of items in your list, this is going to be a very quick and easy way to get back to those items. Now, honestly, if I was, I think I would probably move this above this other stuff because it's kind of lost down here. But this was so pretty that I wanted to have it front and center. The other important thing in terms of InfoWise that I've done here is I've added in an InfoWise calendar. Now, calendars in SharePoint out of the box are a little bit limited because you kind of have to manually enter every item. With the InfoWise calendar, I was able to link this up to the project list, and you can see we've got our projects in there, and if you float over them, you get a little bit extra information. This is actually quite flexible. You can have a lot more information show on the pop-ups here. And once again, creating a calendar, well, it's pretty much a click the menu type of thing as far as InfoWise goes. Very, very simple to do. I can actually go in and show you just really fast because I know you're all fascinated. Da, 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 da. Let's see, and calendars are right here. Here's our project calendar. You can see, and very simple. I mean, I named it. I said what view I wanted. Here's my data. Here's my data is where it's coming from. It's coming from the calendar list. We've got all events. I'm showing the different categories. I mean, simple to build. Go ahead and cancel that. And it gives us a fairly nice, oops, not what I wanted. Gives us a fairly nice view. And then once we're in here too, we can change this. We can add manually items. We can change the view to day or week or month. And we can even put things into a Gantt chart. So if you wanted to see your calendars set or your project set up as a Gantt chart, that's just one click and you can change that. Very nice, very simple and easy to use. Okay, so now let's go back to my home page. I just want to show you really quick. Here's our project document library. I just linked that to the library. And here are the documents that have been attached to the projects. Then we've got a link to the master project list. This once again. And the other thing that I did here was I added a nice big button for adding a new project. And you can make this happen so that it goes directly to the input form instead of to the list and then having to click add a new. So I figured for users, this was just one little step that I could do for them, save them a little time. Now, this is only one way that you could do it. There are as many different ways as there are different people for coming up with methods of doing more or less the same thing. SharePoint is very flexible. Ultimate Forms is very flexible. It gives you the opportunity to do all kinds of great stuff. One of the cool things that we're going to be doing here with this is, and this is a nice new feature that I want to show off anyways. In Ultimate Forms, we now have this install business solutions. There are pre-built templates for various business problems. So if you wanted to have an HR site, or you wanted to have a help desk site, or you wanted to have a leave request site, or a few other sites that we've got down here, you can just click one of these and actually build out a site with all of the list structure, all of the actions and alerts and forms and everything else pre-created for you. The only thing that'll be missing is data. Then, of course, you can go in and make modifications if you need to, but this is something that is available to our customers, and it's pretty exciting. I will be adding this site here under the InfoWise webinars a little later today. This site that I have built out will be available from the Install Business Solutions. And if this is the kind of solution that would help you, you can go and create a new site in a matter of minutes that will have my lists already set up, my actions and alerts already set up, my homepage already set up, and then, once again, you can go in and make changes to that as you want. So that's the quick tour of that. Let's pop back over into here for a moment. Yes, I've showed you that. Let's talk about next steps. Okay, if you have not already done so, you want to download the free trial for Ultimate Forms, because you really want to be working on this yourself. You really want to be playing with this yourself and experimenting and finding out what we can do. If you go to the InfoWise Solutions website and you click on Ultimate Forms, you will wind up on this page, and from here you can request a demo. That'll take you right over here. If you're using Office 365, this is super easy to do. It's a little bit more complicated to install it for an on-prem system, but Office 365, it's really easy. And we have a video that will walk you through the installation. You'll be able to get up and running on that in moments. When you're on the website, make sure that you check out some other things here. We have webinars. These are copies of all the webinars, the videos of all the webinars that we've done. They're here. They're also on YouTube. We have a blog that we keep up to date with information. There's always something new there. Of course, we have training available. If you buy Ultimate Forms and you need some help, you want to pop for some extra training, we have a full day fundamentals training class. We have an advanced training class. We also have a lot of tutorials. I don't know if you people have seen this, but one of the cool things about Ultimate Forms is that it's an extremely well documented bit of software. These tools, we've got a lot of information on how to use them, and we are adding more information all the time. So you'll be able to go in there and find the things that will help you do the stuff you want. We have support. Of course, if you are a customer, you get full support all the time. So all of that stuff is available. Let's go back here. Also, if you become a customer, you do have a 2-hour Kickstart training. That's a video training that's included with the license. And then there is other in-depth training available, as I said, the full day courses. So if you need a product demo, if you'd like to see more about this product, we can do a half-hour, 45-minute demo for you. Request that from the website, and someone will be in contact with you. Or you can contact us directly. You can send an email message to me, or you can send an email message to sales, and someone will be able to help you and answer questions for you. And then join us for next month's webinar, which will be publicized shortly after this month's webinar. We do post that information on the webinars page. You'll be able to see it there. It'll also appear inside Ultimate Forms itself, inside the product itself, notification about that. So it's time for that contest I was talking about. If people want to participate, if you're in the United States, because I can only ship the prize to people in the United States, I would like you to pick a number between 1 and 100 and enter it into the chat or the questions. Okay, I have a number picked. The first person who picks up, somebody got it. Somebody already got it. Hang on a second. Hang on. This is a little hard for me to see. Okay, Cynthia. Cynthia who? Let me make this bigger. Cynthia, you won. Cynthia Waitkis, I can't see your whole name, but Cynthia, if you would please send me a message with your size and your mailing address, then we will make sure that your prize gets to you. And thank you everybody else for participating. I did see that somebody else from the staff has jumped in, so I'm assuming that questions have been answered. The only way here, is there a way to retrieve information from an associated list into a form? The quick answer is yes, and I believe we've got documentation about how to do that. Who did this come from? All right. Okay. We will get back to you on an answer on that one. But for today, I think I'm going to say thank you. And I appreciate everybody who was able to join us today. I hope you learned something new and fun about Ultimate Forms. And as I said, I will be posting this recording of this webinar a little later today, and that will be showing up on the website in the webinars section, and it will also be showing up on YouTube at the same time. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.